Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure to be out here in nature and bringing this message of truth to you. A message of emancipation, one that will set you free. And all you have to do is just look inwardly and discover that your thought is creating your reality, and you can create your reality consciously. That's the reason why I want to speak to you concerning Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, who happens to be my ancestor and also the mentor of Neville Goddard. Now I want to speak to you concerning how Abdullah taught Neville Goddard that self-talk creates reality. And the reason why I choose to speak about self-talk is because we all engage in self-talk, but many of us were never really conscious that it is self-talk that was creating our reality. Because most of us were brought up in religion that taught us that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history. But Abdullah also taught Neville Goddard that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically, that it is not literal, neither is it secular history, and that it was written symbolically, and it all addresses the human psyche. That's the reason why, my brother and my sisters, whatever I say to you, all I'm doing is pointing you how to look inwardly. Okay, so Abdullah teaching Neville that self-talk creates reality was something that was done out of love. That's the reason why such a message is reaching out and healing all of humanity who would listen with an open mind and receive such a message with love. So, with me bringing this message to you is to show you how much Neville Goddard's message and lectures have been far-reaching to people all around the world, because there was a man who understands that we are all one. A man who understands the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. One who understands that everything is basically mental. It's all about the mind. Now, it is of a big concern to me to see that I'm living in a third world country where everybody who would ever listen to me and believe in Christianity, they would think that I am crazy for saying that self-talk creates reality. And there are those of you who would listen and say, well, I know all of these things already. I would have heard these things already. But how much of you realize there are millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of people all around the world that if you tell them that God is their own wonderful human imagination, they would disbelieve you. But if you ask them who is God, which I normally do, they would say God is the creator. When I ask them who is the creator, they tell you he's the Most High. And when I keep asking them, because they're not answering the question, who is God? Like yesterday I asked a guy, I said, who is the commissioner of police? He answered me. I said, you see what I'm asking you all the time? You can tell me exactly who is the commissioner of police. But when I'm asking you who is God, you're telling me the creator. That's not answering the question. Because when I ask you who is the creator, you're going to tell me the Most High. Then you're going to tell me the one who created me and you and so on. And I'm going to say to you, that is second-hand information. Because for someone to tell you that God create and God do this and God do that, they themselves have to be God. There's no one in this world can tell you about God and they're not God. Because to know God, you have to be God. To speak to anyone about God, you have to be God. And you can't be God and not understanding that it is your thoughts that is creating your reality, and that you are responsible for your thoughts, and that you are supposed to master your thoughts, and that you're supposed to monitor your thoughts throughout the day. So Abdullah was teaching Neville one of the most basic principles of life that will help anyone to come in to discover their true spirituality and their true divinity, and help them to create their reality consciously, whereby they can now live a life of abundance and prosperity instead of living in mediocrity, by living in self-doubt and living in condemnation and living in judgment. Because the way how the Bible has been presented to humanity, it's been presented to keep you in mediocrity. And it is very rampant, mostly among melanated people. Because we have to understand that if it was melanated people who was putting the Bible together, all of the characters would have been black. But those who was presenting the Bible to you, because they were the one who were behind of it, they have to present the Bible to you where the characters looking just like themselves. But I'm saying to you, we all have been made in the image and likeness of God. And we all are God in flesh. Therefore, my brother and my sisters, Abdullah never get caught up in race. Abdullah get caught up with the power of the mind. And that is what I get caught up with, the power of the mind. Because it was only when I get to understand the power of the mind and how my thoughts is what has created my reality, I was able to awake within myself and boss my crown chakra after ascending as a fire, like a fiery being, and came out of my skull in another form, and understand the resurrection and understand all the other things in the Bible, that many would be willing to crucify me for speaking against them and saying it is not so the way how it was taught to us. That's the reason why I am doing a book concerning my experience and show you everything that I would have experienced where it is in the scriptures and how many have never seen it that way before. So with all of that being said, my brother and my sister, let me say this. One of the main reasons why I always reach out to melanated people in many of my other videos on my next channel, Black Mad Guru, is because they are the most deprived people. They are the most deprived people in the world, because many of them do not like change. And many of them, they're so grounded in the belief of a man existing outside of themselves named Jesus Christ and a God outside of themselves, that when this kind of truth comes to them, that self-talk creates reality and that it is their thought that is creating their reality and not a power outwardly, and so on, it shake them. So, with all those who allow themselves to think negatively because I'm presenting myself greeting melanated people, is because I want melanated people to understand that they are the one who's damaging themselves, they are the one who are destroying themselves because of their mentality, and not so much based on slavery. Because to me, the greatest slavery is mental slavery. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I believe I got my message across to you. And I believe that was the message that Abdullah wanted us to get across to all of humanity. And I feel so good that I can be here speaking of my ancestor Abdullah, because there's none other who have benefited so much from the message of Neville Goddard, who was willing to have a YouTube channel just speaking about Abdullah. But I guess they were leaving it up to those of us who would get the picture and realize that is our ancestor, and we are to uplift and honor our ancestor. Okay, so with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to encourage you to comment or to like or share. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, I'm encouraging you to subscribe. Now, this message I bring to you, it is the message of, it is the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 22 tells you that if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And I would not have been out here bringing this message to you, having it been that eye, that single eye in me has been open, and I would have burst my crown chakra. That's why the reason why I was put my hand on my crown chakra and give you the symbol of the single eye, letting you know that when you have the experience, you will come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N and the S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life, and that without the sun there is no life and there is no light. And that you are brainwashed when you believe that without a S-O-N, there is no life and there is no light. Because every S-O-N that ever come into this world have to first depend on the S-U-N. So right there, you see the belief of a Jesus Christ being born 2,000 years ago is the biggest lie that you've been believing. Now also you come to realize that without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. And that the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. And all of humanity are being powered by the sun. Therefore, my brother and my sister, my encouragement to you is to use your mind power to achieve your every desire and fulfill the desire of our ancestor, Abdullah. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.